Hello, welcome to another episode of Common Chaos Live with me, Christian Rauchwald, on this mediocre Thursday afternoon. I hope you have better weather than we have here. As always in Common Chaos Live, I'll do my best to answer the questions you have, share some updates that I discovered myself with you, and show you what other people are asking in the comments of my YouTube videos to provide you with even more answers. Before we get into that, as always, however, we first have to get the usual disclaimer out of the way. Everything that I share in this live stream / video is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. With that, I'm going to share my screen. There are a few things that I want to cover today before we actually get into comments and questions and whatnot. Obviously, if you have specific questions, feel free to share them directly in the chat. Let's hide the welcome message. And don't forget, as it says, like and subscribe. At least press the thumbs up button. Helps me a lot. So thanks for doing that. Hi, Gabby. Great to have you here as well. So misclicked. So as we can see on explorepi.info, the total number of migrated pioneers last updated at 12:30, so I'm not sure which UTC, so pretty much currently, is 9,997,198. So we miss around 2,802 people to actually reach the 10 million migrated pioneers requirement for the open mainnet. Now, again, as I mentioned yesterday and previously as well, this does not mean the moment this number switches to 10 million, the open mainnet is there, but most likely the moment this number switches to 10 million, it will take a couple days, and the core team will then probably publish an announcement, celebrate the achievement of reaching the 10 million, and then hopefully with that also announce the day when the open mainnet launches. Considering where we are right now, so in terms of during the year, I would not be surprised if the announcement would be to then decide to launch the open mainnet officially on Pi Day, which would be the 14th of March, since that's not that far away anymore, and it would be quite a significant date, or at least in relation to Pi Network. That's one thing. Now, another thing I wanted to cover, and that's quite interesting, is something that we've talked about recently as well. So we've talked a couple of times, mostly in relation to comments like this, when people, in quotes, get scammed out of their Pi coins because they share their passphrase. And I've been sharing or reminding people that it's important to share your passphrase securely. I pointed out specifically that if you just write it down in a document like this and save it on your computer or your phone as a regular unencrypted document, or just take screenshots of your passphrase, that this is not secure. And now even on iOS, we have the first example of apps that actually are reading or requesting access to your photos. And then when you grant them access, they might need that access for something else. But if you grant them access to your entire photo library, they went through the photo library to scan pictures of potential crypto wallet passphrases. So if you took a screenshot of your passphrase and you installed any of those free apps and gave them access to your entire photo library, chances are they were able to extract your passphrase and will eventually clean out your wallet if they haven't done so. Yeah. So just as a reminder, this is the problem. You have to keep your passphrase secure. What is the solution? The solution is we're going to cover the most secure option and then work our way to reasonable things. The most secure option would be something like, let's go to products, something like this. So a metal card where you engrave your passphrase. And ideally, the most secure way would be if you have a 24-word passphrase, that you get 3 different metal cards. You engrave the first 8 words on one, the next 8 words on the second, and the last 8 words on the third. And then you store them in 3 different physical locations. So I'm going to switch here for now. So you would have to store those cards in 3 different locations. And by that, if we talk about the most secure approach, you would need to store them in 3 different bank deposit boxes, or whatever the English phrase for that is, so that are physically separated, which however would be hugely inconvenient, because if you then for whatever reason need your passphrase, you would need to check the opening hours and go to 3 different banks to pick up the metal cards, use your passphrase, and then again bring them back. But that would be the most secure solution. Yeah, there are hardware wallets out there that work in a way that you have multiple cards and you can give cards to friends that you trust and so on. And out of whatever 5 cards, only 3 are needed to restore access or so. But that is also not the most secure solution, because that would also mean if 5 cards in total exist, but 3 are needed to restore access, then if 3 people know that each of them has a card, they could just decide to clear out your wallet together. Yeah. Obviously, as said, taking metal engravings and bringing them to different banks is hugely inconvenient. Not to mention, it also costs you money to pay for those deposit boxes. Yeah. So what you shouldn't do is, as I've highlighted, you should not just write your passphrase in your notes app or as a text document or take a screenshot of it or so, because that's the least secure thing. Other than people that might just browse your phone at some occasion, there are, as we see, even on iOS apps that might misuse certain permissions to try to scan for passphrases, because obviously if they find the passphrase for a big wallet, it pays way better than hoping that people download the app and pay for, I don't know, $3.50 in-app purchase. Yeah. And so what's the solution here? I've discussed it last week as well. Some people might disagree with my personal approach here, especially considering let's circle one step back. So since storing the passphrases on metal engraving cards and having them in different locations is obviously hugely inconvenient, the next best thing that people might think would be that you take a piece of paper. I have something here that I can probably, 1 second. So that you take a piece of paper and you just write it down here, and then you store it in your safe at home, assuming that you have a safe at home. Yeah. That, however, brings up the following problem. So either you don't have a safe at home, that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is if somebody breaks in and somehow gets access to your safe, they instantly have your entire passphrase. They just need to know, is it for a Pi Network wallet, a Bitcoin wallet, something on the Ethereum blockchain, and voila, they can clean out your funds without any hassle whatsoever. Yeah. Not to mention that if there would be a fire in your home, obviously, that piece of paper might burn up. Water damage might be an issue. Your cleaning lady might confuse that piece of paper with random words with trash and throw it away. So there's like a lot of things that can go wrong. Sorry for the noise, just putting the paper back, with one piece of paper. Yeah. But the biggest issue with that is that the moment somebody gets that piece of paper, they have instant access to your entire wallet. Yeah. So if we now consider what is therefore a safe compromise, let's see if I can find actually recovery kit. In my opinion, a safe compromise. Yeah. So obviously people have different opinions. Yeah. So if you use a password manager like 1Password, like we are doing, yeah, that password manager is stored in the cloud, which obviously is in quote, for some people, a huge no-go. Yeah. However, all your data, all your passwords are secured with your password, so your master password, and as you see in this example emergency kit, the secret key that is only shown to you during the sign up, where you get a PDF that you can download and that you can print out. Yeah. Now we are again talking about printing it out. However, so let's say my regular, or in order to access 1Password, you would need to know the sign-in address, my email address, the secret key, and my master password. Yeah. So the sign-in address for most accounts will just be my.1password.com. So that's not really a security factor. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Thank you, Irina. Yeah. So, Gabby, in the future, when you notice that I'm talking about something that I might be potentially sharing, just remind me if the screen is not showing or so. Thank you very much. Yeah. So here we are. So that's the example 1Password emergency kit. Yeah, that you get as a PDF when you sign up. Yeah. Now, if we compare this with having a piece of paper where you write down your passphrase. And again, if somebody finds that piece of paper, they instantly have access to your entire wallet. Yeah. If you store your passphrase in 1Password, yeah. So I'm not saying that this is the most secure solution. We talked about the most secure solution physical engraved metal plates stored in different secure locations. Yeah, I'm sharing with you the, in my opinion, most secure but still convenient solution. Yeah, so if you store a piece of paper with your mnemonic phrase or passphrase or seed phrase, so those are all the same, those are all synonyms for the word combinations that you use to access your wallet, then if somebody has that piece of paper, they instantly have full access. Yeah. If you store your mnemonic phrase in your 1Password account, it's encrypted with your master password and with the secret key. And that secret key, as said, is only shown to you during the sign up as a PDF you can download. Yeah. If you now print this PDF and you store it in your safe or somewhere in your house, and let's say your regular email address is mike@gmail.com, and instead of signing up with mike@gmail.com, you sign up with an alias. So for Gmail, that would work like Mike, and then you just write plus, and then you write, I don't know, something at gmail.com, and everything that, so when you have a Gmail address, you can always write plus and then whatever, and it will still arrive at mike@something or at gmail.com. Yeah. So far so good. So by not using your regular email address, but by using an alias from that email address, and obviously using a secure password that you don't write down here, and then when you print that PDF, basically just cutting out the secret key so that the page does not contain the sign-in address, the email as well, then it means if I would find your secret key, it would only be one piece of the puzzle. I still would need to know which email address you used, which theoretically, if I have access to your email account, I could search for 1Password, and then I could see what email address 1Password sent emails to. So I could do that, but I again would need to have access at least to your email address. Or if you delete emails that you receive from 1Password after you got them, then I wouldn't find that either. And on top of that, I would need your master password. Yeah. So as long as you pick a secure master password, that's not just like your birth date or something simple like that, this is, in my opinion, the securest option to store your passphrases. Yeah, because, and securest and still convenient. Again, the most secure we covered earlier, but this is, in my opinion, the middle ground. So, because even if I know your regular email address, since you're using an alias email, I have no idea what that is. I would need to guess that. I might find the paper with your secret key, but on top of that, I still would need to know the sign-in address if you have a custom one and not the default one, and your master password, yeah, which is a lot to guess. And the benefit is 1Password is available on all your devices, so as browser extension. And thank you for the reminder, Gabby. As browser extension, as app on iOS, as app on Android, and so on. Yeah. And if you lose the secret key, as long as you are still logged in on one of your devices, where you can enable, if you want to log in with Face ID as well, you can basically use that device to approve future devices as well. Yeah. So yeah, let's try to summarize this real quick. So while the most secure solution to store your crypto mnemonic phrases would be to have them physically engraved on metal plates and then basically stored in independent locations. So split up your mnemonic phrase in multiple parts and store one part here, one part there, one part somewhere else. This is, however, highly inconvenient. If we, however, actually should switch the screen so we get some usable, so sorry for that. So let's repeat this real quick. So while the most secure way to store your mnemonic phrases or passphrases would be to split your passphrase in multiple parts and then have each part engraved in a metal plate and then store them in physical independent locations. So for example, at 3 different banks, this would be hugely inconvenient. In my opinion, the best approach in terms of convenience and security would be to use, for example, a password manager like 1Password. There, you have the benefit that all your data, so the mnemonic phrases or passphrases that you store in 1Password, are encrypted with a secret key and your master password. So all you have to store or keep is print out the emergency kit when you set up your account that you get as a PDF that shows your secret key. cut out the secret keys so you don't have all the information, so your email, your master password, and your secret key on the same piece of paper, but just store the secret key. Obviously, remember the master password, and don't store the email that you used anywhere. Ideally, use an alias email address. This way, even if I find the piece of paper with your secret key, I still would need to figure out which email alias you used and what's your password in order to be able to access your passphrases, which makes it, in my opinion, highly secure. Whereas on the other side, it's also super convenient because you will have your passphrases with you at any time, because the 1Password app is available on pretty much any device you can think of. So it's not as inconvenient as having to rush to 3 different locations to pick up metal cards and then combine the passphrases again. So with that, I've summarized that as good as I can. Yeah, so that's something I wanted to share based on the recent news that there were some, like I said, apps that contained malware that went through users' photos library to scan for passphrases. With that, we can actually finally move on to answer a few of the comments. Some of them will probably be related to what we just talked about. There we have a guy that asked the same question pretty much twice. I probably guessed it means I got scammed about 125 pi from my account. Can I create a new passphrase? What do I do? The answer to that is literally in the video that you left the comment on twice. Yeah, so just watch the video, follow the steps shown in the video. That's pretty much it. Obviously, create a new wallet, but you also have to update your mainnet checklist. And again, it's shown in the video. That's on an old video about Alpha Network, saying that the guy is still in the project as well. We talked about Alpha Network. I don't remember exactly, but I think 2 days ago. It's one of the weirder projects in terms of progress. There is some progress, but there are also always some signs that make it seem like, there isn't that much real progress. Maybe they actually turn the project into something that's fully legit with a real blockchain and something. It looks like they're going that way. And as long as that appears to be the case, I keep pressing that button, especially since it only takes like 3 seconds every day to do it. So my hopes for Alpha Network are higher than for some other, like my camera view, like if I'm talking about the comments. So especially since that's something I probably will not summarize or so. So, I mean, don't hesitate on giving me instructions or sharing what you think I should do. Just have to figure out a flow. So now, and that I'm like a squirrel sometimes, or actually like a dog that sees a squirrel, So, so because Alpha Network is one of the projects that on one hand have some signs that make it appear legit and show progress. On the other hand, some things that they're doing are not that, don't make that much sense. It's one of the projects where I have more hopes than for some of the other projects, but I'm still not super convinced that we'll get somewhere with that. Moving on, B network. There we can translate. Is it possible to withdraw after I've already done the KYC? Like the video that you left that comment on also talks about the whole update where B network stands right now, what you can do with the B. Hint, right now nothing. And what else is in the app that theoretically allows withdrawals. There we have another comment, quite surprising, on a project that I covered a while back called Phone. I'm going to be straightforward. I don't believe that number at all, not even remotely. So the project is called Phone, which, in case you don't know, is a project that started out as Phonium, originally on the Ethereum blockchain, if I recall it correctly. Then it basically switched to the Tron blockchain. Then it rug pulled more or less its users by suddenly introducing a new token called Phonium Green. And then after doing that, it suddenly decided to rebrand again, delete the old website with the old roadmap and make it appear like they just started working on the project, and brand again as Phone with again a new project or whole roadmap. It's listed. That's the one good thing about. You can see there is no trading volume. So the whole last 24 hours, an astonishing $548 or $550 were traded or found on Probit. It's like obviously there is crypto that is worth less. Unfortunately, even some projects that are more legit, surprisingly, but you can see there is no real upside here. And mostly because the project in the past screwed the user base repeatedly, I'm not touching anything that team releases. So good for you. So in short, to answer your comment, good for you if you made $29 or $2,900. I mean, that I don't believe, but if it's true, great for you. But I will never ever recommend a project again where this team is involved. They could launch the next ChatGPT, and I wouldn't touch it, because if you screw your user base twice, then you're just like a piece of garbage and shouldn't be supported. That's just my opinion. But again, really good for you. If you made some money with it, great. Really great. Okay, if we input passphrase within Pi browser, will I get scammed? Please check. I cannot confirm that comment. There is some issue here, as you can see. But obviously the only place, so how do I explain that best? When Pi browser is nothing else like Google Chrome or Firefox or so. It's just a browser. If you open Pornhub in Pi browser, you're still looking at Pornhub. It's not suddenly some legitimate website from the Pi core team. Which means it's important that when you use the Pi browser, that you always verify the domain, and that you pretty much, like make sure that it's. I'm actually gonna 1 second just fire up Let's View. So let's drive that point home. Let's View. Where are you? You moved there. Sorry, screen went dark. So it should still work everything, I guess. There we go. Start broadcast, and then there we go. So there we go. In a second, it should. It doesn't. Why does it not? 1 second. Now it does. Okay, so there we go. And now we switch here. Okay, so the Pi browser, as said, is nothing. Oh, why does it say loading here? It should not say loading. I love it when everything works so smoothly and on time. 1 second, iPhone, Let's View. There we go. We're here on this. Yep. Okay. So the Pi browser, I said, is nothing else like a browser. Like if you would use Google Chrome or Brave or something like that. Which also means whatever address you enter up here, as said, I could probably, I never tried opening anything else, but because it just works like a browser, I can open Google. That does not make Google an official Pi website or something like that. Which means the only place, literally the only place where you should ever enter your passphrase is when you are on the like Pi homepage, and it should be pinet.com, written like this, no variation, not pinetwork.com, not pi.network.com, exactly like this, pinet.com, and then cancel, and then there you can go to wallet, and this is the only place outside, of course, of the official Pi Network app, because there's also in the mainnet checklist the point where you have to enter it. But as far as unlocking your wallet goes, this is the only place where you ever have to enter your passphrase. Now, if we look at the website that you shared, confirm.web.app, not sure if that will even work. So if it exists, okay, there is no project there. So either you shared the wrong URL or so, but usually, now app crashes, okay. So there are websites out there. It's usually when you have a problem and then somebody sends you a message and says they are from the official support team and they can help you. You just need to confirm your wallet, and they then send you to a website where you can pick what kind of wallet, and it ranges from MetaMask to crypto.com to anything else. And then on step 2, it asks you to please enter your passphrase. And the moment you enter your passphrase, a script in the background will clean out your wallet. So the important part is to answer the original comment. If we circle back, yes, if you visit an unsecure website that is not the official web page, even in the Pi browser, since it's just a browser like Chrome or Brave or anything like that, yeah, and you enter your passphrase, your wallet will be compromised, yeah. However, if you visit the official Pi network website, so in that case pinet.com in the Pi browser, and then there select wallet and there enter your passphrase, that's fine. So you always have to carefully check what is shown in the address bar, because making that mistake once means your wallet is compromised forever. You cannot change the passphrase of an existing wallet. Once you share it with somebody, that person will always have access to that wallet. Yeah. So that's that part. Yeah. Thanks for sharing the URL. SSS. I remember I wasted a fair bit of time on Phonium. Yeah. It was really a pity. Back then with Phonium, they actually had something good going and had actually a solid roadmap, and with the different cards that you could collect and so on. So they could have built on top of that, in my opinion. Yes, it would have required a little bit of effort in quotes, and for sure would have required some challenges during development, but it would have probably been a success down the road, similar like other like card games in quotes. And then they introduced Phonium Green. And that was kind of already the first slap into the face, but okay. And then not even half a year later, they're suddenly, okay, we're gonna launch Phone. And then what really pissed me off the most was that they literally scraped the old website. So they had the old roadmap that showed that they were already working on everything for like 2 years or so. And then with the new Phone website, you can check that it's probably still phone.dev or so. Yeah, so with the new Phone website, they now made it look, maybe they still have the roadmap there here for this one, yeah. So, yeah, so they made it look as if, I think that was even longer ago, so it looks like 2023 also got removed from the roadmap, yeah. So that it looks like we just recently started, so that people do not recognize that this is already going on for years, yeah. So, yeah. Maybe the project still makes sense. Maybe they turned legit at some point, but considering what they pulled off before, I just would not, touch any project coming from the same people. Yeah. Anyway, so here we move on. It's actually, okay, it's the same person asking here. No, that's a different one. That's the same one. That's a different one. Okay. Or same one. Yeah. Yeah, so that's just some spam. I don't know what the spam behind that is. So there's like more and more YouTube comments showing up where people have some weird generic sentence and then share an actual passphrase. I think they're hoping that people use the passphrase and then keep using it so that they can clean out whatever their users deposit there. So I really have no idea. It's really weird. So I don't understand the angle of that scam at the moment, but it is a scam nonetheless. So let's see if I can ban you as well. Nope, cannot, okay. I haven't been in this oh, Aaron, great to see you. Yeah, Aaron is also part of our Discord community, and they're one of the users that actively uses WeatherXM, something I've been considering for quite some time now. I haven't been in this project for some kind, I think you meant time. And I don't really recall why I got out. If I remember right, they had limitation for US users. Yes, that might have been the reason. I mean, also, but yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but there was a US limitation. So US users basically couldn't sign up and use the app. And so they were limited to just buying on the open market and the liquidity pools. Yeah, that's, by the way, one of the projects that technically is or was more promising by far than Phone. Yeah, but sadly, if we look, it's really... Crypto markets are sometimes so baffling. Coin market cap, high dollar, yeah. So Phone is valued, as you can see, at 5 cents, whereas high, a business with, go here for a second, with a literal metal card, so metal crypto card, so that you could use to pay or spend your crypto and so on. So similar to crypto.com, is valued at $0.00016. Yeah, so it's insane. Although one has to say the team behind Hi also did a great job, or not the team, but actually only Terence Kwok, the founder of Hi, that already had another failed project before and is now involved in another useless project. He did a great job of basically avoiding any kind of common sense and making decisions that constantly just made the product worse, pissed off the existing user base, and just made sure that no new users will join. Yeah. So, but that's the one I'm really crying after a little bit, because it had so much potential if done a little bit differently. Yeah. That graph, by the way, looks nice. The all-time graph looks a little bit different. Yeah. So it's beyond me how you can cause that with business idea like Hi, the domain name, the licenses in Europe and some other areas already, the features that are available. It's beyond me how you can let that happen. Yeah, but yeah, Terence Kwok for the win here. He made this possible. Yeah, so yeah, moving on. So Aaron, thanks for the comment. When to roll out two-factor authentication in Pi? Yeah, that's one of the, I don't know, like it's. Do you know, I'm going to switch to, and that's the last thing we covered today. We're already a little bit over time. So every project that we had in the past, so like High Dollar, for example, that introduced two-factor authentication, had a flood of user requests. I don't have access to my 2FA app anymore. I need to reset it, yeah. Now imagine in an app where people already don't, or for whatever reason, are not able to safely store their 24-word passphrase, yeah, which is the most secure thing on the planet, with 10 million migrated pioneers, yeah, and I don't know what the overall user number is, 40 million or so. Like, what kind of support team you would need to even think about introducing two-factor authentication? Every single crypto wallet out there, not to mention that for two-factor authentication, the authentication key that's used would need to be stored centralized at Pi Network, which defies the purpose of decentralization. But every single big crypto project out there that I know doesn't have two-factor authentication, because the passphrase alone is as secure as it gets. Yeah, because if you have 24 words out of 2048, and you're missing one single word, so 23 out of the 24, there are 2020 something possible words. So you can guess that, or you can use a script, yeah? If you know 22 out of the 24 words, there's already more than 4 million possible combinations for you to try, which means that's still possible with a script, but without a script, you will not be able to ever figure out the remaining 2 words. It does not get more secure. With 2048 words, a list with 2048 words, out of which you pick 24 random words, the number of possible combination is higher than the number of atoms in the known universe. Yeah. So two-factor authentication would add nothing to the whole matter. Yeah. There are technologies like multi-signature solutions, which means instead of one wallet, you basically have a second wallet that needs to also confirm the transaction. Yeah, that's something that the core team should eventually look into. But for the average user that right now, in quotes, either just shares that they got their wallet got cleaned out, or even complains that it got cleaned out, yeah, none of those solutions would make a difference. Yeah, they did not pay attention. They did not learn the basics about crypto, that they never should share their passphrase. They didn't properly read the instructions. And then for some reason, either because they fell for one of those, I can help you, but you need to verify your wallet first scams, or because they got greedy and wanted to sell while selling was not allowed, they fell victim of a scammer. Yeah. So as harsh as that sounds, but 2FA wouldn't solve that, because if somebody wants to sell and they don't understand crypto, or for whatever other reason, and somebody tells them just confirm your wallet on that website, and they enter the passphrase, and then they get a message, you need to confirm it in the 2FA app or something like that, they would do that as well. Yeah. So all that's needed is that people pay a little bit more attention and understand, never ever share your crypto passphrases. Yeah. Never. Yeah. And That's all it takes. The moment somebody asks you for your passphrase is the moment you know they're trying to scam you. There is no other way around it. There is no reason why anybody, so any third party, should ask you for a wallet passphrase. Yeah? And yeah, with that, we're going to call it a day because, again, we're a little bit in overtime. Thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you were able to take something away from today's stream. Don't forget, you can always join tomorrow's stream as well. If you have very specific questions that we didn't address today, you can use the links down below to join our Discord community where I'm also active every day. And yeah, with that, I'm going to leave you to it. Have a great rest of the day and then see you tomorrow with another episode of Common Chaos Live. Till then, bye-bye.